But how many events could you go to where you really get in touch with people's hearts? They share heart stories from the heart. That's what MoMondays is about.
And he said to me, Gail, you're going to have to look back over your life. You're going to have to see what's happened in your life. And he made me go through all the areas of my life. I had to mark down on a chart significant events. I had to mark down catalytic conversations. I had to mark down where I had taken risks. Trust is not a one-time event. What I discovered in that exercise, you see, I looked at all the areas of my life. I looked at my family. That was a fun one. I looked at my relationships. I looked at my health. I looked at my career. I looked at my business. Yeah, I even looked at my sex life.
At this point, I still had all the cast. I wasn't moving from the bed, my back again, and my feet were up in the air, all tied up on this ramp. So the doctor had the curtain, all around my bed, and he said to my parents, thinking that I wasn't gonna hear this, but he said, yeah, your daughter, she's never gonna be able to walk again. She's gonna probably be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. So I'm listening to this, and I'm saying, oh, what is he saying? Why is he telling my parents that? Of course, my mom starts crying. My dad's trying to figure out, oh, I got to rearrange the house now with a ramp, blah, 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 probably. And I was like, I wanted to say something, but I was too young to think that I could have a voice in this. Plus, he's a doctor. He's supposed to know, right? But I knew inside that I was going to walk.
At the side of the bar, I saw this man. I went, that's John. So I ran up and I ran behind him and I said, have you been to Canada lately? And he turned around and he remembered my name. He said, oh my God, it's Katie from Canada. And we gave each other a big hug and we had this really quick catch up and I went, I'd really like to get up and sing a song. And he looked at me with his horrified look. And he said, and I started to laugh. And I said, John, I've been busy the last 12 years. I've gone to voice coaching. I've had a lot of emotional coaching to get myself out there. And I've been singing in Vancouver. So do you think it'd be okay? And he said, well, you can get up and do one. So I got up and I sang a song. And I finished the song and he looked at me and he goes, what was the other song you wanted to do?
South African winters are quite nice in comparison to Canadian winters. And I was with the bodyguard of a politician, having just a conversation between meetings. He was not my client, but he worked for one of my clients. And he starts telling me a story. He starts telling me a story about a person in his community that was a problem, a bit of a troublemaker. And seemed like a fairly ordinary story. It was a guy who was just stirring up trouble in this man's community. And he said, one day, Jonathan, I saw this man on the bus, and I knew that now was the time to deal with this troublemaker. So I went up to him, and I stabbed him, and he died right there on the floor of the bus. How does a man get to a place where taking another man's life is a legitimate resolution of a problem?
And then he proceeded to tell me and everybody else, and he said, I can't look at your face. I can't spend another minute listening to your voice, Michel Neray. And then he said, and I'll never forget it, this was a killer, and then he looked at me and said, because you remind me of my ex-wife. And he got up and he walked out of the room. Can you win with every person? No. But you know what? You give it your best shot.
If you would have been with me in Montreal, sitting at my dining table, you would have seen a little boy thinking about life. I had butterflies in my stomach and butter chicken in my mouth. I finally mustered the courage to face my father and said, "Papa, Papa, when I grow up, I want to be an actor." My father looked at me with this big black mustache and this deep gaze in his eyes and said, "Son, it is pronounced doctor." This may be funny today, but back then, this was a non-clapping moment.
Wagwan MoMondays.